want to take the time out to thank everyone that watches these videos. These videos are not for me, they are for you, and thank you for watching.
I'm seeing that hoe out the water. I'm seeing the
This is what happens when you take a perfectly good, quiet, and honestly respectable 2020 BMW 330i and you decide to give it a completely new personality. We're installing the holy trinity of mods for the B48 engine, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around to see how this turns out. So let's talk about the patient. This 2020 BMW G20 330i is a fantastic car. It's comfortable, it's quick enough for the daily drive, and it looks brilliant. But that's the problem. It's just nice. The B48 engine under this hood is a marvel of German engineering, but from the factory, it feels like it's being held back. It's a sleeping giant muffled by a restricted intake, a whisper quiet exhaust, and one very, very notorious piece of plastic. Today, we're doing a full bolt-on overhaul. First, we have this beautiful high flow downpipe. This should wake up the exhaust note and give us some real performance gains. Next is this cold air MST intake, and don't forget the Chargepipe, the red one. I know you guys seen it. We're going to start with what the forums claim is the easiest job of the three. Let's remove this plastic right here and this intake. Then we can move on to removing the Chargepipe. The stock airbox is designed for one thing, keeping the car quiet. But quiet is boring. We want to hear that turbo sing. An aftermarket intake should give us better airflow, which means better throttle response and a small power bump, maybe 8 to 10 horsepower. But let's be honest, we're really here for the sound. When you guys remove that intake, there's a hose that connects here, and it's a little tight to get it out. What I would do is make sure the engine isn't hot, but these are the two hoses right here. These are the two hoses that connect to each other. This goes on top, then this connects to the intake hose. Just make sure all of this is unplugged. You won't have any issues. Now let's take out this stock charge pipe. Connects to the turbo there and connects to the throttle body there. This is our warm-up, the appetizer before we get to the main course of the frustration later on. The main reason we're doing this is for reliability. The factory plastic pipe is known to crack and cause massive boost leaks, especially if you ever plan on tuning the car. The process on paper seems straightforward. Engine cover comes off, a few sensors get disconnected, and then you just have to pop off two little C-clips. Yeah, famous last words. If you ever worked on a modern BMW, you know these C-clips were forged in the fires of automotive purgatory. They are spring-loaded, and their only purpose in life is to leap from your hands and vanish into the deepest, darkest parts of the engine bay. And there it goes. The first clip is gone. Welcome to the bonus round I like to call BMW hide and seek. This upgrade is pure peace of mind. Now let's get the upgraded charge pipe on, and then we can do the intake and then do the downpipe. Doing the downpipe last because the car is hot, so I'm giving it a little bit of time to cool down. Now honestly guys, these aren't too bad, just do them piece by piece. This silicone hose in these two clamps is what connects both charge pipe pieces together. You want to make sure to, I guess, position those clamps for easy access just in case. Now this is the charge pipe fully installed. I still have to put this sensor on and this sensor on from the old charge pipe. So let's do that now. Okay, now this part is a little tricky. I mean, what I would recommend is to take your time for sure, because these plastic sensors are not cheap and they are very important if you do not want your check engine light on after you do this full bolt-on install. So just keep in mind that these sensors are very sensitive and they're plastic. All right, guys, now it's time to install the intake. As you see, this is silicone, so MST provides a fitting just like the stock one. This part clips into the turbo. I'll show you. Right here. This piece right here. So let's get this installed. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. MST has definitely stepped up their game with these intakes. I mean, all of these pieces just went together like Legos, and the install was super simple and easy. The installation is also pretty simple. It's a matter of removing the stock airbox, carefully unplugging the mass airflow sensor, and then fitting the new pipe and high flow filter. The biggest challenge is making sure everything is seated correctly. You don't want any unfiltered air getting into your engine, so take your time to tighten down all the clamps is crucial. So let's get this pipe on for the mass airflow sensor, and then we could throw the filter on. But we do have one issue. I didn't remove the mass airflow sensor from the old intake, so let me do that. Now, when installing the mass airflow sensor, make sure you mimic how it was installed on the stock airbox. It'll help you in the long run. All right, we're 2 for 3, and the easy part is officially over. If you're enjoying this journey into scraped knuckles and questionable financial decisions, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what comes next. And drop a comment below, because I know what's the one tool you always seem to lose in the engine bay. For me, it's the 10mm socket. Every single time. I have a policy of no clamps left behind. This one goes to those 2 plastic connectors I mentioned earlier. Right here. Oh, right down here. Clamp goes right here. I'm gonna put that on. Install the top to the intake, and then we can move on to the downpipe. Okay, now for the downpipe, you want to make sure to unplug both O2 sensors so nothing snags when you remove the downpipe from the bottom. This is it, the one I've been dreading, the downpipe. This is where we go from simple bolt-ons to proper under the car wrenching. This single part is responsible for the biggest change in both sound and power, potentially adding 15 to 20 horsepower, especially once the car is tuned. Now, next thing we have to do is take off this 13mm right here. You have to take off this V-band that hooks to the exhaust. And there's 3 bolts. I can't really see them, yeah. I don't know if you guys can see that bracket there. There's one 13 there. And another 13 there. We have to remove that whole bracket. So let me do that. First step, get the car safely up in the air. And seriously, if you're doing this at home, never ever cheap out on jack stands. Once it's up, we have to pull off a bunch of underbody panels just to even see what we're working with. BMW engineering is incredible, but they don't always make things easy for the home mechanic. The downpipe connects directly to the turbo, held on by a V-band in a space that was clearly not designed for human hands. Every bolt is tight, every angle is awkward. This is where your patience wears thin and you start questioning your life choices. The top V-band is the real boss battle here. It's tucked so far away you need a combination of extensions and swivels that seem to defy physics just to get a socket on it. This is the part of the job that separates the determined from the sane. Now, if you guys watch my videos, you already know I'm removing that passenger wheel. Now, I always remove this wheel because it gives me better access if I'm doing anything related to the turbo, which is the turbo itself, lines, or downpipes. This is the go-to. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I had to take the red pill instead of the blue pill because I had to turn into the Flash. This cat was taking too long to get out. After a whole lot of wrestling, the stock downpipe is finally out, and the difference is staggering. The factory pipe has this massive restrictive catalytic converter right at the top. The new high flow version is basically a straight shot by comparison. This is the bottleneck. This is what's been choking the engine. Installing the new pipe is just the reverse of the struggle, but it feels so much more rewarding. Bolting this in, you know you're making a real change to the car's soul. I'm giving this a solid 7 out of 10 for difficulty. It's not impossible, but it will definitely test you. Well, here it is. Now it's time to install the last piece to the puzzle. Now, I have done numerous downpipes before. I know ins and outs of them and stuff like that, but what about you guys? Have you guys ever done a downpipe by yourself, and what was the experience like? Leave a comment below. All right, now it's time to speed things up because your boy is starving. All I had this morning was my coffee, and guess what? I forgot the bagel with the cream cheese. And bingo bongo, this is the finished product. The VRSF downpipe is installed, and now it's time to plug in the O2 sensors and put everything back together. Let's wrap this up. Okay, everything is bolted up. I've double checked every clamp, every sensor is plugged back in, and I think I have all my tools back. I honestly have no idea what this is going to sound like. It could be amazing, or it could be obnoxiously loud. There's only one way to find out. Hearing it at a standstill is one thing, but the real test is out on the road. The transformation is, and I'm not exaggerating, night and day. The first thing you notice is the sound. Inside the car, you can finally hear the engine working. The intake brings all the turbo noises right to your ears. You get that satisfying whoosh and flutter every time you lift off the throttle. The exhaust has gone from polite hum to a deep baritone growl that just builds and builds. And when you let off the gas, you get those pops and burbles that every BMW owner secretly wants. But it's not just noise. The car feels different. The throttle response is so much sharper. The turbo seems to spool up way faster, and the car just pulls harder through the entire mid-range. It feels more awake, more eager. With these parts installed, the car is set up perfectly for a stage 2 tune, which could push power gains up to 40 horsepower over stock. You can feel that potential just waiting to be unlocked. It's not just faster, it's more engaging in every single way. So after a full day of work, a few lost tools, and a lot of sweat, was it worth it? Absolutely 100%. We took this stock 330 and installed the holy trinity: the intake, the charge pipe, and the downpipe. The charge pipe was a necessary reliability mod, the intake gave us all those amazing turbo sounds, and the downpipe completely uncorked the engine, giving it the power and the voice it was always meant to have. The installation was a challenge, no doubt. That downpipe will test your patience. So what's next? A tune is definitely on the horizon to take full advantage of this new hardware. What do you think we should do after that? Let me know down in the comments.